It's showtime. What's up, good people? And welcome to the Frank Harris Show, the biggest, the best, and the baddest show in the world. Guess who's back? My boy, Dominican E. AE, I'm going to be honest with you. There's so much controversial stuff going on right now. I had to get you on the program to get your opinions and get your thoughts, E. What's good, E?
Man, chilling, man. Just finally just getting some rest for being on the road for so long. I'm here, man. Let's talk about all the stuff that's going on in sports.
AE, so the hottest topic in sports right now, we have to get right to it. Caitlin Clark. Oh my goodness, E. Last time we spoke, I told you it was crazy how all these black men feel the need to defend Caitlin Clark. We had LeBron James and Charles Barkley coming out to defend her. Now we got Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp coming out to defend her. I just don't understand what's going on. This girl, Caitlin Clark, great player. She can handle herself. There was another big incident when they played against the Chicago Sky. The girl Kennedy checked her after the play. Angel Reese kind of elbowed her a little bit, and now it's everywhere. They're saying she needs an enforcer. They're saying these WNBA thugs are jealous of her. E, what's going on with Caitlin Clark, Eric? Give me your thoughts. I got so much to talk about in terms of this. I'm just trying to set the stage, E. But give me your thoughts about all this, E. Just start talking about it.
Let me say this first and foremost. This is the most we've ever spoke about the WNBA, so this is great for the WNBA. All the attention it's getting, all the media attention it's getting. So this is great for the WNBA. Number one. Number two, I think she's getting picked on. I think there's a lot of jealousy within the sport. The women are, jealous of her because she's supposed to be the one that's, taking the WNBA to new heights. And so there's a little bit of jealousy involved in there with some of the females. So much to talk about. And also, I feel like, does she need an enforcer? Yes, she does. And we look throughout history, every great player, not a great player, I would say every player that's just a great player, I would say great player, needs an enforcer. If we look at Steph Curry and Draymond Green, right, as the enforcer, when Patrick Ewing and those guys, they had Charles Oakley. So every time you have a team, you need a guy that's gonna, cross the line and make sure that their star player is taken care of, make sure he's not getting, abused by other players. So I believe she needs an enforcer.
Okay, so let me get into some of this, right? The young lady, I believe her name is Trinity Carter, okay? She's the one who hip checked her, and she's had some problems historically, right? She got suspended before. She was a high level pick from out of Texas A&M. She was a good rookie year, got hurt. Then she got suspended for a season. Then she got traded to the Sparks. The Sparks cut her. She took a year off. She played in Turkey. Now she's back in the WNBA. Very good player. She's the one that had the extracurricular activity push at the end of the play that really kind of sparked a lot of this controversy. E, let me start by saying this, bro. I don't understand why do people think that there's so much. And by the way, there may be some level of jealousy, some level of frustration, some level of jealousy, but this shouldn't be such a big deal because anytime a player in any sport is ordained as the next great one, you're going to have veteran players and people that have been there from the beginning that are going to be upset, frustrated, maybe jealous, and they're going to send their messages. I don't understand why is Caitlin Clark any different, Eric. When LeBron James first came into the NBA, he recently even said, and they have clips of Carlos Boozer and Darius Miles and his teammates on the Cleveland Cavaliers who drafted him talking about how he's not going to come into the NBA and dominate. There's better players on our team right now at his position than him. They were hating on him and they were on his own team, right? And then when he got to the NBA, there were moments where people will obviously take cheap shots. I mean, look at when Candace Parker first came into the WNBA. She was abused, hit, elbowed, and even the other day, Angel Reese, right? Alyssa Thomas from the Sun. Yeah. She from the Connecticut Sun, she grabbed her out the air. Eric grabbed her out the air and got ejected from the game.
Yes.
Angel Reese is a rookie. Okay, veteran players send messages to rookies. I don't know why this is such a big deal with Caitlin Clark, right? This is a normal situation. And then, of course, there's the racial element. She's white, obviously. So, is it because she's the great white hope? Because when Alyssa Thomas pulled Angel Reese out the air and got ejected from the game, no one talked about it the next day. But historically, we can go throughout sports when there's a great hope, white or black, right? But Caitlin Clark is a great white hope. But when there's a great hope, of course you're going to get a little bit, Wembenyama dealt with a little bit of physicalness. This is what happens, Eric, when you are the golden child. This is expected. And by the way, not even if you're the golden child, first pick in the draft, right?
No.
Last year, Aaliyah Boston dealt with it. And the Indiana Fever said this. Last year, Aaliyah Boston dealt with it as the first pick of the WNBA draft as well. It happens, Eric. I don't understand why do all of these guys feel like they need to come to Caitlin Clark's defense. So what do they expect her to do? Just walk through the WNBA her rookie year and not get hit and not get the extracurricular activity? That's how it goes, Eric, in any sport. What is everybody? What's the big issue, E?
No, I'm agreeing with you as far as her getting the treatment that she's getting in the WNBA. Of course, she's anointed as the next one, the golden child. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I'm agreeing with you on that as far as her getting the extracurriculum activity when they bump in and stuff like that. So I'm agreeing with you on that because
can I ask you a question, E? Is that not normal?
Yes, that's normal. I'm
yes.
Not with you.
So what are we doing?
What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is, right, the narrative that the media and everybody's pushing is that, here's this little white girl from Iowa, that she's, supposed to be, and obviously race plays a major
That's the real issue here, Eric.
It does play a major role in this. And that's the narrative that they're pushing, which is, listen, I said it earlier, it's great for the WNBA because now all eyes are on the WNBA, right? This is what
no. Okay, let me let you finish. I'm sorry. Let me say this, though. Let me say this, E. But you know what? You can't do it at the cost of all these other players. And all eyes, and everybody keeps saying, oh, all eyes on the WNBA. That's cool, but it's really unfortunate because what you're doing is creating a chasm, white versus black, okay? You got America's sweetheart, Caitlin Clark, white girl, and they're acting like all of these black thugs are in the WNBA jealous of her, trying to hurt her. That's what the narrative is, Eric, right? These thugs, these black thugs are trying to hurt our little white princess. That's what it feels like, Eric. And by the way, let me be clear when I say this. Caitlin Clark, because and I'm super objective in this, and let me tell you why. Because Angel Reese came out, I believe it was yesterday, and Angel Reese said, well, Caitlin Clark is not the only one that's uplifting the WNBA. I am as well, right? Because, Lotto, some of these celebrity people have come to watch her play. And so she's saying she's also playing a major role in elevating the game. And I say this, Eric, okay? Angel Reese, wake up. No, you're not, okay? You playing a role to a degree, but Caitlin Clark is the reason why the WNBA is elevated, okay? Everybody's coming to watch her games. She's Angel Reese. The Chicago Sky are not selling out the way the Indiana Fever are. And she's a traveling circus, and everybody wants to see Caitlin Clark play. And she got the big Nike deal, and she's the person that's elevated the game. Now, with that being said, there have been a lot of foundational women that have sacrificed a lot to get the WNBA in a position where Caitlin Clark has been able to come in at the right time, at the right moment, in the right situation, and take the game to the next level. So Caitlin Clark is her, right? She's the person. Now, with that being the case, let's stop making these other women look like frustrated, jealous thugs, okay, messing up America's white princess. Because that's what it feels like, E. That's what it feels like.
Frank, let me give you some history on how this is comparable to when the NBA was struggling and they had Larry Bird, the Great White Hope, and Magic Johnson. They made that into a big rivalry between them two, and there was some race involved in that as well, right? The narrative was Larry Bird was supposed to be the next White Hope, right? And then they pushing that, and Magic is the phenomenal player from Michigan. Took his team to the championship his first year, playing all 5 positions. So they was pushing that narrative to get the NBA.
Hey, I'm sorry, but this is not the same thing. Let me tell you why. Because you had two people. Right now, it's the whole WNBA against Caitlin Clark.
Okay.
Right? It's not the same situation.
What I'm saying it's similar, right? I mean,
It's not similar because no one painted Magic Johnson as a villain. We love Magic Johnson and people love Larry Bird. Very different.
Okay.
Magic Johnson was not the villain. Magic Johnson was Showtime. He was fun. He was exciting. And Larry Bird was blue collar, hardworking, white, right? Magic was black, Showtime, fun, big smile, right? But it was no villain and superhero in that dynamic.
It wasn't, but the NBA was pushing that narrative, Frank, white and black.
That's different though. But this narrative is the whole WNBA is jealous of this girl, Caitlin Clark. And then you got every black guy that has a platform that need to jump on to Caitlin Clark to defend her. By the way, Caitlin Clark is a tough girl, right? She's a very good player, okay? And as a rookie and as the face of the NBA, you're going to get some tough love, some jealousy, some frustration. And by the way, let me be clear. And also what they're doing is making the WNBA woman, right, into like this one monolith, right? To borrow a word from Molly Querim, she used that word, which I thought was a great word to use. A monolith, right? Like everybody in the WNBA is the same. It's one group of women that all hate on Caitlin Clark. That's not what it's like. There's some women that may not like Caitlin Clark. There's some women that may be frustrated because they felt like they put in the time to build a WNBA to get it to this point. And then maybe the majority of women who appreciate Caitlin Clark and who are just happy to be in the WNBA. Let's not act like everybody's hating on Caitlin Clark because they're not.
Frank, let me ask you this, and I'm gonna go back.
They're not.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna go back to the Larry Bird stuff. Was there jealousy with Larry Bird when he came into the league? Even Isaiah Thomas and Rodman, those guys, they made comments about if he was black.
That's not when he first. Hold on. That's not Eric. You're asking two different questions. That's not when he first came into the league. At that point, he was an NBA champion when they made those comments.
Okay.
So that's not when he first came in. But of course there was jealousy. But by the way, was there jealousy when LeBron James came in the league? He's black. Yes.
All I'm saying is,
don't act like because Larry Bird was white. I mean, it's always jealousy when a guy's a star.
I get that, but I'm just saying I'm making the comparison: Larry Bird being white and Caitlin Clark being white. I'm making that comparison. There was jealousy between, the two races, black and white. Obviously, there's some jealousy with Caitlin Clark, and there was some jealousy with Larry Bird when he came into the league. That's all I'm saying.
Eric, there's jealousy when Victor Wembanyama came in the league. You saw veteran players when people said he was ahead of Russell Westbrook. It was a big thing when Kenyon Martin was like, "Yo, you guys are crazy, out of your mind." Old heads, NBA players, everybody. It's always that, Eric, right? Let's not act like it. That's anytime a guy in any sport is ordained or woman, male or female, there's going to be people that want to send messages, period. So that's not a white and black issue. Now, is there undertone of race when it comes to this situation? Unequivocally, yes. I'm not disagreeing with that.
That's what I'm
but let's not.
That's what I'm pointing out.
Eric, but let's not act like Caitlin Clark is unique in a sense of this is new and this is only happening to Caitlin Clark. It happens to everybody. So let's stop acting like this is something different. And by the way, I gave the other example. When Angel Reese went up to shoot and the girl Thomas, who's an elite top 5 player in the NBA, pulled her out the air, right? And Thomas got ejected from the game. And that may have been personal too, because Thomas played for the University of Maryland, where Angel Reese started in college, and she transferred to LSU. Angel Reese is also from Maryland. But the vet was sending her a message. Okay?
I'm agree with you on that.
So my point I'm making is why no one cared about that. Everybody just said that was a vet sending a message to a rookie, right? So why is Caitlin Clark different when the girl, Kennedy Carter, just gives her a little chuck after the play? Carter's play didn't even get her ejected. And he got upgraded to a flagrant 1, I believe it was. Thomas got kicked out the game. It was more egregious. We're not talking about that. So I don't understand why all these guys need to come to Caitlin Clark's defense. That's one. And then number 2, Eric, I agree with you about this. She needs an enforcer. That's correct, right? Now, I don't know if the WNBA has notoriously had enforcers. I'm not sure about that. But does Caitlin Clark need somebody to come to her defense on her? And by the way, and maybe she doesn't have that player on her team right now. right? Maybe she doesn't have a person naturally who can do what Draymond Green does for Steph Curry, for instance, right? Draymond Green is an enforcer. We do have a lot of NBA players. A lot of times, Eric, when LeBron had Tristan Thompson as an enforcer, right? We know historically you gave Patrick Ewing had Oakley, Jordan had guys that protected him for years and years and years, right? So we have those. We understand that, E, right? But maybe that's not something that we see in the WNBA, and we haven't seen. Right? Matt Barnes was a quote unquote. I think he was a fake enforcer, but
I would love to see the girl Boston was Aaliyah Boston.
What? No, see, here we go again. Why the black girl got to be the enforcer? Boston was the number 1 pick too. You a racist too.
I would love to see.
So the big black girl got to protect the little white girl. Here we go again.
I would love.
Aaliyah Boston was the number 1 pick too. She the best player on the team. Who enforcing for her?
That's a big girl. I would love to see her come.
Oh my goodness, bro! I can't believe you just said that, dog.
Come to the defense of Caitlin Clark.
Oh my goodness!
Just one time. I would love to see that.
But I can't believe you just said that. So Michael Jordan's supposed to be Scottie Pippen's enforcer?
No, you had Oakley there.
The best player on the team is Aaliyah Boston right now, and she was the number 1 pick too. Why is she the person you said should be Caitlin Clark's enforcer?
What does that do? What does that do with just being an enforcer, Frank? Number 1 pick doesn't have to do nothing with being an enforcer.
It does have to be something with that because she's the best player on the team right now.
I get that, but what does that have to do with her being the enforcer? That's what I'm asking you.
What best player on any team is the enforcer, Eric, ever? Give me historically in the NBA or any league where the best player was the enforcer. You tell me now. The clock is ticking.
Nope. I mean,
all right, then. So that's what it has to do with being an enforcer. Give me an example when a player was the best player on the team and it was their job to be the enforcer to the other players. And you picked the biggest black girl on the team. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm just saying, stick up for your girl, man. Come on, stick up.
So why got to be the best player on the team?
Frank, I'm not looking at it from a standpoint of who's the best player, who's not the best player. Just to stick up for your player. That's all.
Eric, said she needs an enforcer.
Listen, nobody's gonna mess around with Aaliyah Boston. She's big. She's a big girl. Nobody's gonna push her around.
So nobody's gonna mess around Patrick Ewing. He was big and he's a big guy, but he had an enforcer.
Nah, he was. Patrick Ewing was kind of soft. You know that.
Nah, Eric. Every big man. Eric, stop, bro. Eric, just so you know, you sound as racist as all of these people out here right now. I can't believe you just said that. Just so you know, this is a historical moment on the show. I can't believe you said something so racist. So you chose the big black girl. First of all, hold on. Let me dissect what you said, okay? You said that every great player on teams have an enforcer, and you historically gave examples, good example as enforcers, right?
Yes.
None of the enforcers have ever been.
Thomas, Lambeer, those guys were enforcers.
Hold on. Have any of those enforcers been the best player on the team?
No.
Okay. So why all of a sudden then you pick the biggest black girl on Caitlin Clark's team, who, by the way, is the best player on the team, who was also a number 1 pick last year? And why do you think that she should be the enforcer? And you just said, historically, there's never been an enforcer, right, that was the best player on the team. But now we should have an aberration, and the big black girl should protect this little white girl and be an enforcer. Even though historically you've agreed that's never been the case. Talk to me, E. How is that appropriate?
I didn't look at it from a standpoint of who's the best player, who's the best player, who got drafted number 1.
Oh, but it's the big black girl should do it.
The big black girl should do, yes.
Why is that?
Because she's the big black girl, Frank.
Why can't one of the big white girls do it?
Do they have a big white girl on the team? I don't know.
Of course. So why can't it be a big white girl to come off the bench and get no playing time to be, or doesn't play a lot and their job is to be an enforcer? Why should the big black girl do it?
I'm just saying, and she's a great player too. I'm just saying she's a great player. They'll have more respect for her, if she comes out there and defends Caitlin Clark.
Eric, she's the best player on the team.
I get that. I understand that. I'm just saying the big black girl should defend the little white girl.
Bruh. I know you're joking now, but E, that was terrible, dog. I want you to know. That's terrible, bro.
I'm just saying. I just thought of Aaliyah Boston. I don't know. I didn't, I thought you.
No, don't do that, E. But E, that's racist, though, dogs. See, here you go again. Another black man right? Another black brother, right, defending the Great White Hope. Here we go again. I'm gonna put you, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp, LeBron James, Charles Barkley. I don't understand.
All right,
Like all of this, Caitlin Clark, it's unbelievable.
Let me say this, Frank. Let me say this. How about the team coming to her defense? How about the team coming to her defense and helping her and being the enforcer as a team? You know, how about that? Take the big black girl out and just say the team should be able to help her out.
Eric, let me say this, okay? Eric, being an enforcer is a role, right?
Yes.
Everybody is not equipped for that. When you say the team come to their defense, like if Michael Jordan got hurt, Scottie Pippen, that's not what he is, right?
Okay.
Or Steve Curry, that's not who he is. You can't say the team should come to her defense because everybody's not built to do that. There's certain players who embrace that role, okay? And so you can get players who do that. But it makes no sense for you to say every player. And by the way, why do we all need to protect Caitlin Clark? I'm a hooper like she a hooper. What are you talking about? Everybody's not built to be physical and fighting and to be that. Get you a bum to do that.
But historically, Frank, I understand that she could take care of herself. But historically, we just named how great players always had enforcers. Even
No. Historically, you haven't done that in the WNBA. You talked about the NBA. That's a man's league. Here we go again. Here we go again about men like you imposing your non-experience on the WNBA on how it goes. Give me examples in the WNBA where the best. Who was Teresa? Who was the person who protected Cynthia Cooper or Cheryl Swoops? We don't know. So historically, we don't know that that's the case in the WNBA. So don't impose NBA tactics on the WNBA. So should she have one? Maybe, but don't say historically that's been the case because it hasn't. Or we don't know that it has been.
We don't know that it has been.
Right, but you said it has been.
No. I didn't say that. I said
you just said that. I got to rewind the tape. You just said historically
from different sports, Frank. We've seen it in different sports.
Okay, but in the WNBA we don't know.
We don't know. There's probably been in sports. There's probably been it. We just don't know.
Maybe, maybe not. But don't say historically that's always been the case. Number one. And number two,
in different sports, yes.
And number two, there's part of an initiation in any league. And as a rookie, you're at the bottom of the barrel. That's why they make you get donuts and they make you do things as a rookie as part of it. So Caitlin Clark getting a little roughed up, okay, in the WNBA is all par for the course. Now, I can tell you historically in all sports, rookies have been dealt with this way. So let's not make this big deal. And everybody's like, oh, Caitlin Clark is the golden goose. Caitlin Clark is making, so what? What does that have to do with her dealing with some rookie difficulty? She could be all of that. She is the person that's helped raise the sport to another stratosphere, right? But let's remember now, right, stepping on the shoulders of people, right, who sacrificed and put in work for years and years. Caitlin Clark is the right person at the right time. And she's talented. Don't get me wrong. She's talented as can be, Eric. All right. But she's not the best player in the WNBA right now. Hold on. Let me just finish this. She's not the best player in the WNBA right now. She's not the best player on her team right now. And her team is atrocious. And by the way, that's why they had the number one pick. I get it. Okay. But let's not then, right, act like she should be getting special treatment.
Okay.
Let's stop. She's getting special treatment. She got the biggest Nike deal. She got the most endorsements. She deserves all of that.
Yes.
But she got to deal with what rookies deal with in sports. Period. And she can handle that.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes, Frank. So let me remember the incident where South Carolina and LSU got into a little scuffle when Flo J bumped the girl and then the other girl bumped Flo J. And what did Moki say in the press conference? What did she say in the press conference when that happened? She's to defend the low rapping guard.
So the little rapping guard who started the fight, Moki's comment was ignorant, number one.
Go ahead. I'm just waiting. What did she say?
She said, I wish she would have hit Angel Reese.
Yeah.
No. So what does that mean? How does that? She said, I wish she would have hit Angel Reese. How is that comparable to what we're talking about?
Because
she said, I wish she would have hit Angel Reese.
Hold on.
That's what she said.
The little rapping girl started, right? She started the whole thing. Then the big girl from South Carolina pushed her.
Correct. Cardoso did. Correct.
Cardoso did. Big girl.
Yes.
Big girl. And
yes.
Moki said, I wish you would have hit Angel Reese. compromise size, hit her. Same
Relevance?
thing.
Relevance?
What you mean? She said, I wish you would have hit her.
So how's that relevant to what we're talking about right now? Please tell me.
Frank,
What are you talking about? How does that relate to this situation?
listen to what I'm saying. You said
Please tell me.
You said that I picked a big black girl to defend Caitlin Clark, right? I'm saying the same thing scenario. Pick on somebody your own size. Pick on somebody your own size.
Eric, no, Eric, that's different because no one. So hold on. Let me tell what, Eric, right now, you're looking pretty bad. And let me tell you why. You said pick on somebody your own size. Hold on. Caitlin Clark is big. Hold on. Caitlin Clark is bigger than the girl that pushed her.
No.
So your example.
No, she wasn't. No, she wasn't, Frank. No, she wasn't. No.
So hold on. Let's be clear. Let's look it up. So you telling me Trinity Carter is bigger than Caitlin Clark?
Of course she is.
How much you want to bet on that?
We ain't gonna bet, but let's continue with the show. Let's go.
Put your money on it. Put your money on it.
We ain't gonna do that. Let's go. Let's go.
No, hold on. I'm not gonna let you say that. Let's look at it. Trinity Carter, your example you gave is atrocious.
How is that atrocious? I'm just
because you talked about a big girl. Caitlin Clark is 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
All right, Trinity Carter is 5'9". So your example makes no sense. Hold on. Trinity Carter is 5'9".
5'9".
All right, hold on. Trinity Carter is smaller than Caitlin Clark.
Size.
And your example,
Size. As far as height wise, but she's bigger, bulkier.
She's not bigger. Caitlin Clark is a bulkier girl. She weighs more too. Your example is atrocious. All right? Cardosa is like 6'5", 6'7", and the other girl is 5'7". You talking about Carter is smaller than Clark. So your example goes all the way out the window. Bro, come on, be rational. Stop bringing it. That's a horrible example. Doesn't relate to this.
Let's move
but
on.
listen. Okay.
You made a point, but anyway, you say.
It doesn't relate to this. Number one, and number two, I got one last aside. Even though oh my goodness, I can't. I don't even like. So a small aside. I'm just hot right now, bro. You tripping?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Small aside. Should Caitlin Clark move to the 2? Right? Because she can score more and not have the responsibility of playing the point guard.
No.
Just a question, side question.
No. She's a phenomenal passer.
You can be a phenomenal passer and still play the 2. Larry Bird is a phenomenal passer.
No, but
if you're talking about white people. Jokic is a phenomenal passer. He don't play the point.
No, she's more suitable to play the 1. She can score and also distribute the basketball.
Is she fast enough or athletic enough to be a WNBA 1? I'm just asking.
Yeah,
because by the way, she's leading the WNBA in turnovers too, I believe.
Well, I mean, that happens with all rookies. I mean, all rookies.
So now that happens. So when she's doing that happens with all rookies. So we're okay with that. But when she get beat up a little bit, that happens with all rookies too. But you don't say nothing about that. All right, let's switch topics, bro. Here you go again. I'm gonna put you with Stephen A. Smith and all these other dudes. Unbelievable how y'all got up. And by the way, the irony is this: I'm not really dissing Caitlin Clark because I think she's amazing, and I think what she's done is amazing. But stop, bro. Like all you black guys running around here, right, glazing Caitlin Clark is crazy, dogs. And by the way, the whole WNBA doesn't hate her. She's a great player, and she's dealing with all rookies deal with. So stop, bro. Stop. I gotta switch gears now. Oh, I'm so hot right now, brother. Oh my goodness, I can't. Yo, E.
Let's switch gears.
All right. Woo. You bring me. You put the AC on in here, man. All right, E. So listen. Now we switch gears. Okay. Whew. Switch gears, man. Switch gears. All right, let's go to the NFL. Okay, let's go to the NFL. All right, we got obviously the wide receivers. The wide receiver position is one of the more controversial positions in the NFL. Okay, wide receivers are known as crybabies. They always want the ball. They always open. They always want more money. They always, right? So now quarterbacks are getting paid. Quarterbacks are getting paid crazy, okay? And now we got wide receivers who want to get paid. So we got it's 4 really, E, to talk about. But the first one is Justin Jefferson, and he got his money. The most guaranteed money ever by a non-quarterback positional player. The most money in the history of the NFL for a wide receiver, obviously. He got good money, right? 4 year, $140 million. I believe $110 of it is guaranteed,
yes.
right? So now we got 3 guys left out there, okay, who are looking to get paid, okay? One, CeeDee Lamb for my Dallas Cowboys, right? CeeDee Lamb, who had probably the best year of his career last year and had better numbers last year than Justin Jefferson, right? So we got CeeDee Lamb for my Cowboys. You got Brandon Ayuk from the San Francisco 49ers, another guy who really, really, really is talented and is a very integral piece. And ironically, they just gave Christian McCaffrey 2 more years on his deal at $19 million, I think, per. And then lastly, you got Jamar Chase, right? Receiver extraordinaire, who is Joe Burrow's number 1 target for the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, so Jefferson got paid. Okay, Eric, who should get paid next? And should they get paid more or less than Jefferson?
Good question. Good question. I think Chase is up. I think Chase should be up next.
Chase really? Over Lamb?
Yes.
So Lamb had the better year than all the receivers in the NFL last year, you could argue.
Yes.
Okay. So you think Jamar Chase should be ahead of Lamb?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Why?
I think he's an integral part to the Bengals offense, number 1, right?
Well, but Lamb is an integral part to the Cowboys offense too, right? I mean, that's the argument. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, but those numbers could be, it could be a little bit inflated. You said that numerous of times too when we spoke about Dak Prescott and the numbers being inflated because they're always throwing the ball because they're always down. So the numbers could be inflated. So Chase being a guy, the main target for the Bengals, I think he's the next one up. I think he should get. It's a good question. He should get more than he should get more than Jefferson. I think he should get more than Jefferson.
How? By the way, college teammates at LSU, I believe too, right? 2 LSU wide receivers. Like you, 2 great wide receivers out of LSU. LSU is becoming wide receiver U, right? But
I mean,
really, Jefferson's the better player. I think Jamar Chase should get paid, but definitely not as much as Jefferson.
So you're saying Jefferson is a better player than Chase?
Of course he is. Yes, and I don't think I think
Who's
more
had better
people.
numbers? Who has better numbers in their short career? Who has?
Listen, Jefferson number 1, and I think more people think yes, and I think more people. I think it's more universally accepted that Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL, not Chase. Okay. Now, I think Jefferson is universally recognized. Not universally, obviously, there's always room for debate. But I think he's the person when people say who's the best guy in the NFL. And by the way, not with great quarterback play as well. Okay, good player, but Kirk Cousins is not the best quarterback in the NFL. We know he's Mr.
I was going to point that out.
Mr. Mediocrity, right? Kirk Cousins is. So, but Jefferson is that. The question is CeeDee versus Jamar Chase. I happen to think that CeeDee had a better year last year, right? Which he had a better year than both wide receivers. I think I like Chase a little better. And I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, right? I go crazy for my Cowboys. I do think Chase is better than CeeDee. And so, or similar. I think both of them should get paid less than Jefferson. I think Jefferson set the bar and those guys fall below. All right. So, as Mahomes may set the bar, then, other guys should get paid. But like, Josh Allen should be paid, but not what he's getting paid, or Lamar Jackson or what have you. And so I think Jefferson should be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. I think Chase and Lamb are relatively similar. I do think Chase is a little bit better, but I think Lamb has had a better year this year. I think the Cowboys, Lamb is a big part of America's team, right? He's probably a little bit more popular than Chase is. So I think they should get paid similarly. But the question is this, it's ironic, but Ayuk is the guy that's probably playing on a better team, right? Well, not probably, definitely playing on a better team. And he's getting his team, he's the best receiver on the team that's getting the Super Bowls and the conference championships, okay. Right? The team is consistently very good. And you could argue, right? Is he their best ball catcher? Okay. Is he better than Kittle? Is he better than Debo Samuels, as a pass catcher. He might not be their best offensive player. It may be McCaffrey, right? You could argue that, but it's
or even Debo, right? Debo is an intricate part of that.
not better than McCaffrey.
Or
Integral,
Kittle,
but
or Kittle,
huh?
right? Or Kittle. Very
That's what I just said. So, but is Ayuk the more important target?
Nah, no, I don't think he's the most important target. I think the most important target is Kittle. That opens up everything else.
No, well, you can argue Debo opens up everything else because he's the playmaker.
Debo and Kittle opens up everything else for the other guys to.
Okay. So I don't think Ayuk is in the same world as those other guys either. Just to be clear,
I know why you
right? But he's another guy whose contract is up.
Okay.
So I had to bring him up. So either way you have it is you feel like Jefferson should get paid similar. Jefferson and
similar to
Chase.
Chase should get similar to what Jefferson is making.
Right, more or the same? Because sometimes when the market is set, the next guy gets more.
That's what I'm saying. So, or he get or less, right? If that's the standard, Jefferson is the standard. Then the next guy falls under the next tier, which will be
or the same, right?
Or the same, yeah. Chase, or then it'll go down from there.
So do you think? So I'm asking, should Chase get what Jefferson got?
Yeah, similar to what Jefferson got. Similar to what.
Nah, you tripping. So I think Lamb will come in less.
I'm tripping all show now. I've been tripping.
Huh?
I see you said I've been tripping all show now. Come on, Frank. Come on.
No, okay, I get it. I said that's an opinion, but Jefferson is the guy.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying he should get similar.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
I think Lamb and Chase should get similar.
And listen, personally, you made a comment about wide receivers being crybabies and all this stuff.
They're the divas. They're the divas. They are. They've always been that way.
Frank. These great quarterbacks that we see today, right? Where would they be without these wide receivers that we see today? Where would they be? They got to be.
Okay, let me listen. Go ahead.
Got to be able to throw the ball to some of these guys, right? And I think.
So I got a question. So when you say where would quarterbacks be without wide receivers, right? The three best wide receivers we named, how many rings they got? I'm listening. Okay. So where would Mahomes be with what wide receiver? Because it's been a carousel of wide receivers, and he's winning rings with everybody. So let's not do that.
That's a system, and they had Tyreek.
What's the system? It's no system, and Mahomes is throwing passes. When you say system, what do you mean? Frank, a system is not. Kansas City is not a system.
Frank, they got one of the greatest coaches of all time.
It doesn't mean it's a system.
Come on,
the guys are.
His play calling is at an elite level. Like, what do we? Come on, Frank. Come on.
Mahomes is notorious for playing. Mahomes is notorious for playing off schedule.
He is. I get you that.
All right then. That's no system.
There is a system in place, Frank.
No, if that's the argument, every team has a system. But when you talk about a system quarterback or a system player, right? KC is not that.
I said a system. I didn't say a system.
Every team. So that's the argument. The New York Giants have a system.
Every team has a system.
All right then. So don't act like that's unique.
No, it's not unique, but I'm saying he does play off script. He does do that. But
all the time.
But I'm saying he got the best tight end, and he had the best wide receiver at one point in his career.
Eric, let me say this, Eric. Wide receivers are overrated, okay? On multiple things. Now, they're divas, and they're great at times. But we just talked about the three best wide receivers you can argue in the NFL. And they are, you could argue, Justin Jefferson, right? Smith, and maybe Lamb, okay? Between those three guys, they have 0 rings, okay? If you name the best quarterbacks in the NFL, they have rings, okay? So let's stop. Let's listen. And by the way, this is the other piece.
So let me ask
you, a wide receiver,
where do you leave Tyreek Hill? He's not one of the best wide receivers
in today's NFL. He's an elite one, but the best.
He led all wide receivers in yardage.
Now last year, CeeDee Lamb did. So if you make that argument, CeeDee Lamb is not the best. CeeDee Lamb did last year.
Okay.
But the point I'm making to you is this, right? Great wide receivers, we love them, right? And it's all good, okay? But let's not overinflate. And then this is the other issue, Eric. In a game, a wide receiver, if he touches the ball 7 times, that's great, right?
Okay.
10 receptions is an exceptional wide receiver game. Okay. The ball's in the quarterback's hands for how many plays?
50, 60 plays in total.
So realistically speaking, a guy that's touching the ball 7 times is great and can be dynamic and explosive. But let's not overrate even a good running back. Running backs are not as important, but Christian McCaffrey is a more important player to your team than Tyreek Hill because he's getting 25 touches.
Yes.
He's getting 25 touches.
Yeah.
So listen, and by the way, right or wrong, running backs have notoriously been, wide receivers have notoriously, look at Keyshawn Johnson, had a book called Throw Me the Damn Ball. They've been notorious for being divas. That's a fact, E.
If you would have told me cornerbacks are divas, I would have.
No, wide receivers are divas more than cornerbacks. What? Throw me the damn ball. I'm always open. Ball, me. Give me the ball. That's all they do. Me, ball. That's all they. What do you mean?
In a pass happy league, you got to get the ball to
whatever it is. They're the biggest divas in the sport.
You got to get it to your skill players. That's got to get it to your
skill
players.
Fair enough. So anyway, I get it. I see how you think they should get paid. Interesting. Let's see what happens. CeeDee Lamb. So Justin Jefferson got paid right before the mandatory minicamp. CeeDee Lamb didn't get the contract. He held out today. And Jerry Jones, who's obviously he owns my team, the Cowboys. He's so crazy. He always waits to pay, and then because he waits so long, then he has to overpay. Right. So instead of paying CeeDee Lamb before the market got set, he had to overpay. Same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. Waited to the last minute, had to overpay. Same thing with Dak Prescott. So now all of a sudden the quarterback market is going to keep going up. And then you're going to keep holding off paying Dak Prescott. And then at some point you got to pay him. Because at some point the Cowboys need a quarterback. And it's not like you're going to get some rookie that's going to come in and be better than Dak. So you're going to have to pay the guy. So just pay him, dogs. Right? Before the market keeps escalating. It's like unbelievable. Pay the guy. So anyway.
That's your team.
It is my team. Yes, it is. And we're going to win a Super Bowl this year. Right? Us delusional Cowboy fans, every year we think, but this is our year, Eric.
Yeah, you see, I'm
Ezekiel's back.
I'm glad you're acknowledging that the Dallas Cowboys are delusional fans. I'm glad you're acknowledging that, Frank.
I'm not a delusional Dallas Cowboy fan. That's a joke. But yes, the Dallas Cowboy fans are often delusional, right? I think it's going to be very tough for us to win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as a quarterback. I don't think Dak Prescott is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I think it's an aberration if he can lead us to the Super Bowl. I don't think that Dak Prescott is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I don't believe that we have enough to win a Super Bowl. But I'm hopeful, right? I'm not a delusional.
I'm not a Cowboy fan, but I think the Cowboys have enough to get to the Super Bowl. Great defense. Great offensive talent, and I think they have enough to get there.
I have a question for you. Is the offensive talent great, right? Who's the running back?
Great offensive line.
Well, not great, right? We lost a few of our guys, right?
But still pretty good, though. Still pretty good.
We lost our best offensive lineman, besides Larry Allen, who just passed away. One of our best offensive linemen, right? Our guy for years and years just went to the Jets.
Yeah, but I think they still have enough. And especially listen.
Tyron was a pretty good offensive lineman. He went. So let me say this, and we also lost one of our interior linemen too. So offensive line is pretty good, but we have no running back. We brought Ezekiel Elliott back, right? CeeDee Lamb is very good, but let's not overrate the offensive talent.
Defense is pretty good. Defense is pretty good, right? You got his brother's coming back from injury last year.
We'll see. Defense is great, right? Maybe the best, Micah Parsons' best, pass rusher, or one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Micah Parsons is good. Yeah. Diggs is very good, right? In the secondary. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I'm hopeful.
I'm pulling for them, Frank. You're my guy, so I'm pulling for the Cowboys. And
and there are a lot of more talented teams in the NFL. Yeah. So now, let's switch gears again, Let's get to hoops. Okay. Yes. We got the NBA Finals coming. Before we get into the NBA Finals, I want to talk about one of your players. Okay. And the question came up the other day with your boy Gilbert Arenas, who, by the way, I think he's a guy that has some of the silliest takes I've ever seen before, right? And I think he's a clickbait guy, and I get it. You know what I'm saying?
He does make some interesting points, though. I like Gilbert Arenas. He does make some interesting points there.
Yeah, but to me, he tries to be extreme purposefully. right, and say things that are outlandish on purpose. And I get it. I get it. I get it. So he's okay. Not bad. You like him. I think he's okay. But he had brought up an interesting point when he said he thought Steph Curry was not a generational talent. And I know you're a Curry guy. And what are your thoughts about that? Do you think Curry is a generational talent?
Definitely the generational talent. Look how he.
Wow, you say so. I totally disagree with you, but tell me why.
I mean, look how.
So I agree with Gilbert Arenas on this. He's not close to a generational talent to me. Not close.
That, Frank. I figured that. Look how the NBA has transformed because of Curry.
No, hold on. But generational talent is a different. Let me let you finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. The NBA. Look at the NBA. Look how the NBA has changed because of Curry. Right. Look how the game has opened up because of Curry's, extraordinary shooting. Now every kid, now the NBA is it's all they're asking for is shooting. Before it was a big man's game, it was a guard's game. Now everything is, everything has to be about shooting. So look at what he's done for the game of the NBA. If that's not a generational talent, what is?
Okay, that's an interesting point. Let me tell you what's different. A person can be a generational player, but not a generational talent, right? And let me tell you what I mean when I say that. Victor Wembanyama is a generational talent, 7'5", and does things we've never seen. LeBron James is a generational talent. When you look at guys and you look at them and they do things talent-wise, ability-wise that we've never seen. Steph Curry, right? You can replicate him easier than it is to replicate. A lot of people can be Steph Curry. A lot of people can't be LeBron James or Victor Wembanyama.
Of course,
that's different.
I understand.
Right. So a guy can be a great player, Eric, and Isaiah Thomas is a generational player. You could argue, right? But Isaiah Thomas is something that you can replicate. You can't replicate, right, the physical ability of Michael Jordan. It's harder to replicate that. It's harder to replicate the physical ability of LeBron James, right? It's hard to replicate the physical, like Victor Wembanyama. These are generational talents. Steph Curry is a great player, right? But another kid can be Steph Curry easier than another person can be LeBron James.
So my question is he a generational player? Obviously, you're saying he's not a generational talent, but is he a generational player, which is a different
Unequivocally, he's a generational player.
Okay,
yes, he is.
That's my point.
Yes. I also said Isaiah Thomas was another example, was a generational player, but not a generational talent.
I don't think Zeke is my guy, but I don't think Zeke was a generational player.
How not? I mean, the way he competed as a small guy in that era, and by the way, when we're talking about generational player, a guy that has came into the NBA and has transcended the NBA to a certain play, right? To a certain level. Isaiah Thomas Pistons did that, and Isaiah Thomas was a small guy.
The Pistons, yeah, they did that.
Hold on. And not just that, Isaiah Thomas revolutionized the game in a sense because which small guy has won a championship? Curry did afterwards, right? But how many years did it take, right, for a little guy leading an NBA team to win a championship? That's generational talent. Okay, between Isaiah Thomas and Steph Curry was probably 25 years.
Winning NBA championship, but there's been little guys that have played similar to what Isaiah has played. And
No. Who?
Isaiah Thomas. I'm saying Isaiah Thomas is my guy, but there's been players that have played the position and have been small guards like Isaiah Thomas and played, to phenomenal feats with like let's say, for example, Tiny Archibald.
Who?
Tiny Archibald.
Tiny Archibald. No, his feats are not close to Isaiah Thomas's. That's not true.
Well,
what do you mean?
No, what I'm saying is this.
And by the way, Tiny Archibald was before Isaiah.
I know
right?
that.
But anyway, Isaiah Thomas was an incredibly unique player.
He was, but I'm saying we've seen that
generational guy.
We've seen that. We've seen that. We've seen that.
We've seen every. There's no play. We've seen Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. You could argue we've seen it since. No, but my point is, we've seen Steph Curry. Maybe not at his level, but we've seen Steph Curry before.
Yeah, okay. So
every player we've seen, to some degree.
Well, we haven't seen a player like LeBron. It's a generational talent. It's different. That's a generational talent.
Okay, so we haven't seen a player like LeBron. Okay. Well, listen, I think LeBron James is generational talent. So I don't think we've seen a player like LeBron either. But we've seen Michael Jordan before.
Okay, we can see Michael Jordan. Okay, so he
Right, we've seen Michael Jordan
is he
before.
considered is he considered a generational player or a generational talent?
Unequivocally generational talent and player.
So
We haven't seen a lot of Michael Jordans, but we've seen it before.
okay, all right, all right.
Right?
I see where you're
But,
going.
but how is Steph Curry more of a generational talent than Isaiah Thomas?
No, I said he's a generational player.
I mean, no, but I'm sorry, yeah, player. I mean, Isaiah Thomas playing against, you could argue, better competition, right? In the era where you had the greatest player ever playing, right? Isaiah Thomas, the fact that the Bulls won championships with him with a 6-foot guard dominating the NBA. But no, listen, I would say Steph Curry was a better player than Isaiah Thomas. I will say that for sure. Steph Curry got 2 MVPs, I believe it is, got 4 rings. He's the best player on the team, better player. But I think Isaiah Thomas was still a generational talent. Steph Curry's better. But I think Isaiah, but I definitely don't think. So hold on. I meant to say player. I meant to say player, not talent. So now, when I defined it differently, Eric, I meant to say player, excuse me. Is Steph Curry a generational talent or just a generational player?
Generational player, not generational talent.
Okay, so you agree with me?
Because I mean, you said when you proposed the question, I was going based on player, not talent.
Right.
Because we can replicate Steph Curry. We can do that. You just have to be a great shooter.
Yes.
Be in the gym all the time and become a great shooter. That can happen.
Yes.
Maybe not to that level, but it could be considered.
Yes. I agree with you.
So that's
we agree on that, E.
Yeah. So
all right, E, well, listen, we got to get ready to wrap it up soon. E, last question. Let's talk about the NBA Finals right now. Who you got? What are your thoughts? You know what I mean? Who's going to win, E?
Oh, that's a tough one. My hardest.
I got to get you on the record because you know you be equivocating when it come time and stuff start happening. I got to get you on the record right now, bro. I got to get you on the record.
My heart is torn because I would love for Al Horford to get a ring and retire, in that way, just on top of the championship ring. But I'm going with Kyrie Irving and the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going with Kyrie and the Dallas Mavericks.
The underdogs. Yes, the underdogs.
I'm going with Kyrie, Luka, the whole team. Sham God, all those guys over there at the Dallas Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with the Dallas Mavericks.
Hey, by the way, ask Sham God about Frank Harris. Ask Sham God what happened in the park, back on 135th Street Park. He knows. He knows. Anyway, yo, E,
so
I'm going
Dallas Mavericks. I think that Kyrie and those guys, I think they're the best 2 players on the court, and I think that it's going to be some type of vindication for Kyrie to go back in Boston and win a championship against his team, against a team he played for.
How many games, E, is your prediction?
6.
So, E, let me go here. So, Boston is the better team, right? Lineup-wise, etc.
Yes.
Okay? But I think the playoffs are about stars.
Yes.
Okay? I think the playoffs are about the superstars. If you look at the teams that win, and the stars in Dallas are better than the stars in Boston. Okay? Kyrie and Luka are better than Tatum and Brown. They just are.
Yes.
And not only are they better players, okay, but Kyrie has won a championship and hit one of the biggest shots in the history of the NBA.
Yes.
Right? One of the history against your Golden State Warriors, right, with LeBron James.
Yes.
Kyrie Irving hit one of the biggest shots in the history of the NBA. So that being said, he's won at a high level, ice in his veins, hit championship winning shots, he's won a championship, very, very high level player, and he's playing at a different realm than he's ever been. Because I think, E, we talk about this all the time, I think he's a misunderstood player. Yes. And I think the way he did, and sometimes presentation is important, and the way he presented himself and he presented things and said things before, I think a lot of times they were misconstrued, but he did it the wrong way, right? Now he's delivering his message better, he's matured, and I think he's in a different place mentally, physically, psychologically than he was when he played for Cleveland, the Nets, or when he was in Boston, yes. Right? I just think that he's in a place personally, Eric, and it clearly affects and shows what he's doing on that basketball court. Yes. I think Kyrie Irving is going to be electric. And I think what he's been able to do to Luka Doncic has been phenomenal. And I think he's helped Luka raise his game to a level where I believe that if Luka Doncic wins this series, you could argue that Luka Doncic is the best player in the NBA. You could argue it. I get the Jokic conversation. But if Luka Doncic, as the best player on his team, because he is, lifts this team to a championship, no one at all had doubts. Even after the trade, at the trade deadline, shout out Nico Harrison, great trade, when he added Daniel Gafford and he added Washington. PJ Washington. I don't think anybody at that point thought this team would be in the championship series. And so I think Luka and Kyrie has raised their levels and their players around them levels to a whole nother realm. And also feel a big X factor is going to be Jason Kidd being a better coach than the coach from the Boston Celtics, Mazzulla. I think Mazzulla is a hardworking guy. I like him. He's a grinded out guy, but 1 foot in front of the other guy. But he's young and inexperienced, and I just feel like, I don't say young and inexperienced.
This is the second merry-go-round, right? This is the second time in the finals. So let's see what.
But he's still not a lot of experience, right? I think Kidd is a way more seasoned coach. So I think Kidd will be an X factor, right? And I think Tatum.
Seasoned coach. When you say seasoned coach.
Yes.
What do you mean when you say
seasoned coach?
Because this guy has been to the NBA Finals, right? And
aberration.
Kidd has never been to the NBA Finals as a coach. His first time as a coach. So So when you say seasoned, I would think Boston coach is more seasoned when it comes to this environment, NBA Finals, than Kidd.
So Eric, the word season, if the way it's normally used is saying the person that has significant more experience as a coach. When you say a guy's a seasoned veteran or seasoned veteran coach, Mazzulla had one run, right? That doesn't make him a seasoned coach. He had one run with somebody else's team. Okay, this is the first year
it's the same team now.
I understand that, but he's 1 year in. He's a 1 year in for a full season as a head coach. He's 1 year in, so he can't be seasoned.
2 years in, Frank. It's 2 years in.
Well, the other season, didn't he get in there after the other guy got fired? Correct. So this is his first full year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe it's the second full year.
The point is, Jason Kidd has coached 3 NBA franchises, okay? Won an NBA championship himself, okay? And has way more experience as an NBA coach, way more experience. So Jason Kidd is a more seasoned coach.
Frank,
okay. I mean, that's not even debatable. So let me ask you a question. So a guy plays in the NBA for 15 years, okay? A guy comes in 1 year and gets to the final and losing. The guy that plays for 1 year is more seasoned than the guy that played for 15 years?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
You're saying that.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying in this particular game, NBA Finals, Mazzulla is more seasoned. He's been there.
But that's not. I said Jason Kidd is a more seasoned coach. Period.
Okay, all right.
I didn't say Jason Kidd is more seasoned in NBA Finals.
Okay. So
that wasn't my statement.
Okay.
So what are you debating?
Okay, I'm just saying that Mazzulla.
Jason Kidd is a more seasoned coach than Mazzulla. Fact.
Okay, I'll give you that. But Mazzulla's
right. That's the point I made.
Okay, but Mazzulla's a more seasoned coach in NBA Finals.
I don't know what that means, Eric. Just because a guy gets to one NBA Final, I don't know what that means. But okay. The point is, I think Jason Kidd is an X factor. He's a better and more seasoned coach. That's my statement. Okay. And then on top of that, I think you got 2 superstars in Boston that don't mesh, right? There's discord in Boston. You watch them play. Tatum and Brown are still competing against each other. And both of them, by the way, have choked deep in playoff series. Like, not choked. And by the way, but they haven't performed at a high level deep in the playoffs, okay? And they're one thing about Kyrie and Luka, they clearly get along and it's harmonious. It doesn't feel that way, Eric, with Tatum and Brown. It still feels like they compete against each other for shots. It still doesn't feel like they're pulling for each other, okay? And it still feels like they're arguing, right? Not verbally, but just physically. You feel like there's an argument for both of them trying to say, I'm the best player on the team. Like, who's the best player on the team, Eric?
You have to say Tatum.
See what I'm saying?
You have to say Tatum, but then you have to say Brown because he's the highest paid on the team. So all that is a factor.
And Brown's played better. in the playoffs this year than Tatum. You could argue.
Okay, there you go. So people could say Brown, people could say Tatum. We just don't.
And I feel like so they're a better team, right? So one team has better players, and one team I feel like is a better team. I think they're the more defined roles with Dallas. They seem to be together more. Where I feel like Boston has a better team from 1 to 12, right? They have better players, but there's discord amongst your superstars. And again, discord doesn't mean that we beefing, but it just doesn't feel like they play together harmoniously. It doesn't feel like they're on the same page. It doesn't feel like they're pulling for each other. And I also don't know that they're big game players yet because they always get far in the playoffs and choke. So I just feel like
Porzingis is the X factor. If he comes back, he's the X factor.
Who?
Porzingis.
Mr. Glass?
If he comes back, he's the X factor.
Who? Mr. Glass?
Porzingis, you heard what I said?
Mr. Glass?
You heard what I said?
Please. Porzingis will be there for one game and be back hurt again in 2 minutes. I don't care what kind of X factor he is. He's been out of basketball, not playing for the whole damn playoffs. Porzingis, we'll see. Okay, I hear you. X factor. You might be better off bringing him off the bench and starting your boy Horford. Because Horford has been playing great.
Bringing him off the bench. I'm not saying put him in a starting rotation. Bring him off the bench.
Wait, I mean, if he comes back, he starts. Just for clarity, there's no way Porzingis comes back and he comes off the bench. I mean, that's not happening. You know that. And by the way, your boy Horford, you want him to get some rings. He got 2 college rings, bro, at the University of Florida. All right? Good at that.
I would love him to go out as a champion. My man, Al Horford.
Yeah. Well,
he's my man.
I don't think it ain't going to happen this year, bro.
My heart is torn. I hope you know I love you. My heart is torn, but I'm going to go with Dallas because I think Kyrie is going to perform at the highest heat.
And they're the better team, E. No? In terms of team, camaraderie, not players, right? But they just feel like they're a team that's I won't say a team of destiny, right? But they just feel connected to me. Boston doesn't feel connected. Boston feels like, right, a lot of great individual pieces.
Great players, yeah, okay.
And they beat teams because they're way more talented. But to win this finals, I think it's going to take this, right? Connection and not just individual greatness.
That Pat Riley philosophy. Gotta be a team. When they won it all.
Gotta be a team.
When they won it all.
Gotta be a team.
Miami. When they won it all with D Wade, those guys. Gotta be a team.
Gotta be a team, E. You can't win without a team. All right, E, well, listen. Oh, my goodness, E. What a controversial day today, E.
Hey, you call me a racist.
You know what I'm saying?
You call me a racist. Huh? I got you.
It's been all good, E. You know it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I guess it's this time again, E, where we open up the floor to you, man, and you shout out, Dominican brothers and sisters who are achieving and doing well in our society, E. So the floor is yours. Who you shouting out today?
So I'm going to go with the Dominican national team, 18 and under. Last night they beat Canada for the first time at the FIBA Americas. They beat Canada for the first time since 2002. So shout out to those young men out there in Buenos Aires, out there representing the Dominican Republic, doing a phenomenal job. Lucas Murillo, young player from Iona Prep. Danny Cabuchier, Stepanak, great young talent out there representing the Dominican Republic. So shout out to them. They played Venezuela today. So shout out to those guys for, achieving such a great feat and beating Canada, which is one of the top young, teams in the country, in the nation, as far as basketball. So shout out to those guys.
Well, not in the nation, you mean in the world, right?
My bad, in the world, The world.
Come on, man.
Sorry, in the world. Bringing home the victory last night. So shout out to those guys.
Shout out Dominican 18 and under team. Congrats. All right, E, so listen, E, always a pleasure. We'll do it again soon.
You're gonna stop calling me a racist too, Frank.
Hey, listen, the facts are the facts.
Just because I
Mr. Caitlin Clark, the facts are the facts.
Just because I like white quarterbacks and I like, doesn't mean I'm a racist. It doesn't mean I'm a racist because I like white quarterbacks. Come on, Frank.
There you go. Facts are the facts. Facts are the facts.
Come on, Frank. Well, thank you for having me, Frank. And
all right, E.
Subscribe, like, and comment on the show.
Yes. Show love, everybody. We appreciate you all. Love. We out.
Yes.